What's up, YouTube? This is James coming back at you with another informative video. I hope y'all doing well out there on this Thursday night. Doing pretty good myself. Shout out to the brother Jamal Bay for sending me this particular story right here. And it sheds light on the reason why people that, white people that is getting COVID-19 more so than that of us that are called black people. Okay. Even though they say that we're, predominantly more affected by this particular virus more so than any other race, I do not believe that. For the simple fact, every time I look in the obituary section of the newspaper, it is always the way it always was. You have a 3-to-1 ratio where there's more white people, in the obituary section than black. In other words, you may have 3 white people, you understand, that's passed on to 1 black person in our obituary section. That's the way I've always seen it. So that debunks, what they say, far as I'm concerned, black people being more affected by this particular virus. Okay. Now, this particular article right here says DNA inherited from Neanderthals may increase risk of COVID-19. The stretch of 6 genes seems to increase the risk of severe illness from the coronavirus. All right. Now, check that out. So now get into the story. A stretch of DNA linked to COVID-19 was passed down from the Neanderthals 60,000 years ago, according to a new study. Scientists don't know why this particular segment increases the risk of severe illnesses from the coronavirus, but the new findings, which were posted online on Friday and have not yet been published in a scientific journal, show how some clues to modern health stem from ancient history. This interbreeding effect that happened 60,000 years ago is still having an impact today, said Joshua Akey, a genetic at Princeton University who was not involved in the new study. This piece of the genome, which spans 6 genes on chromosome 3, has had a puzzling journey through human history. The study finds. The study found. The variant is now common in Bangladesh, with 63% of people carry at least 1 copy. Across all South Asia, almost 1/3 of people have inherited the segment. Now, let me add this. I think when our people fail, you understand, the House of Israel, and paraded themselves with smaller so-called gods and brought about these races that wasn't supposed to be. Okay. Interbreeding and mixing with them and bringing about, they interbred and mixed with fallen angels, and the fallen angels did mingle their seed with the daughters of Adam and with the beasts of the field, okay, and with every creepeth and crawleth thing on the earth, and the fish of the sea, and the fowls of the air, which is the birds, what have you. They actually brought about these races of beings that wasn't supposed to be. And so the Most High gave, I think, this is just me saying this, I believe that the Most High gave these races, different races, certain races, a certain time, just a certain lifespan to live, you see, before they would start dropping off. As a matter of fact, I saw a video, oh man, it had to be about 2 to 3 years ago, and I wish I could find that video, to this day. I just don't know the name of it, where it said that white people were going to start dropping off due to some sort of virus, you see, in the near future. And look what we have here today. Now, That's just me. That's just what I believe, that the Most High said, okay, you just have just a certain time before, you start, dropping off, okay? Because it wasn't supposed to be in the first place. Now, let's continue with this. Elsewhere, however, the segment is far less common. Only 8% of the Europeans carry it, and just 4% have it in East Asia. It is almost completely absent in Africa. Okay? And that's another thing. They wondering why Africa has such a low rate of coronavirus. You see what I mean? A very, very low rate. And if Africa, my advice to them, if they want to keep that low rate, don't let these so-called people come over here saying they want to help you, or what have you. Help me what? Catch the virus? Nope. You stay your ass over there. But I digress. Back to the story. It's not clear what evolutionary pattern produced this distribution over the past 60,000 years. That's the $10,000 question, said Hugo Zberg, a geneticist at the Karolinska Institute in Sweden, who was one of the authors of the new study. One possibility is that the Neanderthal version is harmful and has been getting rarer overall. It's also possible that the segment improved people's health in South Asia, perhaps providing a strong immune response to viruses in the region. One thing's for sure, the Most High is correcting all of the wrongs of the past. That's what this is all about. Okay, it goes on to say here, one should stress that at this point, this is pure speculation, said Dr. Zberg, co-author, Svante Paba, whatever his name is, the director of Max Planck Institute for Evolutionary Anthropology in Leipzig, Germany. Okay, I'm probably not pronouncing that word, but you guys get the picture somewhere in Germany. Researchers are only beginning to understand why COVID-19 is more dangerous for some people than others. Older people are more likely to become severely ill than younger children. Men are at more risk than women. Social inequality matters too. In the United States, black people are far more likely than white people to become severely ill from the coronavirus. For example, most likely due in part to country's history of systematic racism. It has left black people with a high rate of chronic diseases such as diabetes, as well as living conditions and jobs that may increase exposure to viruses. As far as I'm concerned, a lot of the black people problem is our people is violating the food laws, our diet. That's what this diabetes thing is about. And remember, this article is talking about Neanderthals. You know what I mean? And we know who have the Neanderthal DNA versus who does not. White people are the ones with Neanderthal DNA, not black people. Okay? Be that as it may. Now, being that some of us are we do have crossbred, with them, you understand? Our DNA still comes from the Most High, the angels from above. You understand? And this right here was on what did I see this on 2020 some years back, when they said themselves, their own scientists said that our DNA come from they said space aliens or something like that. And I knew they were talking about the Most High and the angels when they said it. I can't remember which show it said that. Could have been 60 Minutes, I think it was. 60 Minutes. And that white people had the more of Neanderthal gene, like Bigfoot or something like that. Sasquatch. They were more related to the monkeys. Okay? So, why should, black people be more disproportionate? Affected by COVID-19. I just don't buy that, but be that as it may, to continue. Genes play a role as well. Last month, researchers compared people in Italy and Spain who became very sick with COVID-19 to those who had only mild infections. They found two places in the genome associated with a greater risk. One is on chromosome 9 and includes ABO, a gene that determines blood type. The other is the Neanderthal segment of chromosome 3. See? Key word Neanderthal. See? A monster. You know, something, an abominable creature that was not supposed to be on this earth. The Neanderthal. See, if you Google Neanderthal, you're gonna see some little messed up caveman and shit. But Neanderthal is actually basically crossbred. Is basically a Nephilim. You know, Neanderthal is kind of like what Cain was. You know what I mean? He has the skin, you know, recessive skin. All right, and what have you. Neanderthal was like the giants because they was crossbred from fallen angels. You understand? And what have you. That's what a Neanderthal is. And it's very hairy. You know, if y'all remember this movie called The Land of the Lost, it wasn't a movie, it was a show used to come on when we were kids called The Land of the Lost. You know, he had these slee stacks, which little lizard people that live underground, which I do believe in that stuff too. You know, remember what I said, that the fallen angels mingled their seeds with every creepeth and crawleth thing on the earth. And a lizard is a creepeth and crawleth things, and angels are in the form of men. So there you have it. But the Land of the Lost, I think, had this Bigfoot looking creature on there. You know, am I getting it mixed up? I think it was. Land of the Lost had a Bigfoot looking creature. And man, I'll tell you, you know, he was hairy, you know, and you can tell it was crossed between some kind of ape and a man. That's a Neanderthal, okay? And somewhere along the line, I don't know how they became they're more human. That's just I'm gonna just leave that. Now to continue, but these genetic findings are being rapidly updated as more people infected with the coronavirus are studied. Just last week, an international group of scientists called the COVID-19 Host Genetics Initiative released a new set of data downplay the risk of blood type. The jury is still out on ABO, said Mark Daly, a geneticist at Harvard Medical School who is a member of the initiative. The new data shows an even stronger link between the disease and the chromosome 3 segment. People who carry 2 copies of the variant are 3 times more likely to suffer from severe illnesses than people who do not. After the new batch of data came out on Monday, Dr. Ziebert decided to find out if the chromosome 3 segment was passed down from Neanderthals, okay? Although 60,000 years ago, some ancestors of modern humans expanded out of Africa, okay? And let me add this as well before we go any further. Expanded out of Africa, all right? You had Cain and Abel, okay? Cain was of that wicked one. He was not Adam's son. He was the devil's son himself, you know? And so this is how they came about. I mean, it's deep. It gets pretty deep. This is how they came about. See? Now, to continue, and swept across Europe, Asia, and Australia, these people encountered Neanderthals and interbred. Once Neanderthal DNA entered our gene pool, it spread down through the generations long after Neanderthals became extinct. Most Neanderthal genes turned out to be harmful to modern humans. Okay? They may have been a burden on people's health or made it harder to have children. Who population is dropping off as we speak now? Okay? Now, now I'm gonna just leave it at that. Now to continue. As a result, Neanderthal genes became rare and many disappeared from our gene pool. All right. Um, but some genes appear to have provided an evolutionary edge and have become quite common. In May, Dr. Zberg and Dr. Pablo and Dr. Janet Kelso, also of the Max Planck Institute, discovered that 1/3 of European women have a Neanderthal hormone receptor. It is associated with increased fertility and fewer miscarriages. That is a lie. Now to continue, Dr. Zberg. If that was so, what they say, why would their population be dropping off? Think about this, people. See, being misled again, they're telling lies again. All right. See, but to continue, Dr. Zberg knew that other Neanderthal genes that are common today even help us fight viruses. When modern humans expanded into Asia and Europe, they may have encountered new viruses against which Neanderthals had already evolved defenses. We have held on to those genes ever since. Dr. Zberg looked at chromosome 3 in an online database, Neanderthal genomes. He found that the versions that raise people's risk of severe COVID-19 is the same version found in a Neanderthal who lived in Croatia 50,000 years ago. I text Svanta immediately. Dr. Zberg said in an interview referring to Dr. Pablo. Dr. Pablo was on vacation in a cottage in the remote Swedish countryside. Dr. Zberg showed up the next day and they worked day and night until they posted the study online Friday. It's the most crazy vacation I've ever had in this cottage, Dr. Pablo said. Tony Capra, a geneticist at Vanderbilt University, who was not involved in the study, thought it was plausible that the Neanderthal chunk of DNA originally provided a benefit, perhaps even against other viruses. But that was 40,000 years ago, and here we are now, he said. It's possible that an immune response that worked against ancient viruses has ended up overreaching against the new viruses. People who develop severe cases of COVID-19 typically do so become their immune systems launch uncontrolled attacks that end up scarring their lungs and causing inflammation. Dr. Pablo said the DNA segment may account in part for why people of Bangladesh descent are dying at a high rate of COVID-19 in the United Kingdom. Wow, I'll tell you. In conclusion, it's an open question whether this Neanderthal segment continues. To keep a strong link to COVID-19 as Dr. Zberg and other researchers study more patients, and it may take discoveries of the segment in ancient fossils of modern humans to understand why it became so common in some places but not others. But Dr. Zberg said that the 60,000 year journey of this chunk of DNA is DNA in our species might help explain why it's so dangerous today. Its evolutionary heritage, let me say that again. Its evolutionary history may give us some clues, Dr. Zberg said. All right. Well, Dr. Zberg, here it is in a nutshell. And I said this already. The Most High is righting the wrongs of the past. And you're not going to come up with any cures for this virus, okay? Because it's already prophesied in the world. I mean, in the word rather. in the end times, there will be plagues. All right. You're not going to get rid of these plagues. I don't care about your scientific facts. And a lot of y'all already know this. You just, want to put a wool over other people's eyes. You don't want to tell people the truth because they studied the word, they studied the Bible. Hell, they're the ones that took a lot of things out of the Bible so we can forget ourselves, because that's our history book, to tell you the truth. But y'all tell me what y'all think about this particular story. I'm interested in hearing y'all thoughts, views, and opinions on this. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. People, please remember to live your life as though we are being watched. Simply because we are, this is James, and I'm out. Peace.